Hey everyone, Neil here. Welcome back to another streaming review. Today, I'll be taking a look at Sweet Tooth, the Netflix adaptation based on the DC Vertigo comic by Jeff Lemire, or Lemire, about a pandemic and hybrid animal humans. Yeah, interesting. So there are 8 episodes in this season, and I won't spoil anything past the first few episodes, because I have to talk about the series in some detail in order to give it a proper review, right? So if you want to know zero, then come back after you've seen at least the first 3 or 4 episodes. It stars Christian Convery as Gus, a young hybrid of a deer and a human, though he seems mostly human. And Gus is raised by his father, Pubba, played by Will Forte, but he raises Gus in the woods, so Gus is naturally very naive and understands basic survival, but not really how things work in a society. Plus, he's got an addiction to candy, which is why the show is called Sweet Tooth. There is an epidemic where people do get the sick, as they call it. Yeah, they call it the sick. It's kind of strange, but alright, we'll go with it. It starts around the same time as the hybrids started showing up as well, so people think there's got to be some kind of a connection between them. Nonzo Nosey, I think I'm pronouncing that right. He's from Game of Thrones, and he also stars in this series as Tommy Big Man Jeopard, a traveler and former pro football player who saves Gus from some evil poachers. And there are also hunters known as Last Men they're after all the hybrids. I guess they're hunting them down, and I don't know if they're experimenting on them. We don't, I'm not going to, get into that too much, but they're basically hunting them down. And they're led by General Abbott, played by Neil Sandilands, who played the Thinker on The Flash on CW. There's also a character named Dr. Aditya Singh, and this is a man desperate to find a cure for this virus, known as the H5G9, in order to cure his wife, Rani. He hides her condition from the nosy neighbors who they're actually going to kill her in order to contain this virus, if they find out. Meanwhile, on the road, Gus and Jeopard encounter a group known as the Animal Army, led by a girl named Bear. They recognize Jeopard's scars, which indicate that he is a hunter, although he says he quit, but they don't believe him, and they're about to execute him by feeding him to a tiger. And now, this is when Gus reveals he actually has a hidden gift in communicating to animals, or at least being able to calm them when they're being quite aggressive. Gus saves the big man, and they both escape and go looking for Gus's mom in Colorado, and that winds up being the main mission here. I won't say anything more about what happens, but I must compliment the acting here, especially Convery as Gus. He plays his role very convincingly, and maybe it's the ears and the antlers, but he does a very good job. All the acting is very good here. The legendary James Brolin, he narrates the series, and most episodes, they move at a very good pace. It does a good job of balancing the tense action with moments of awkward humor. It's produced by Robert Downey Jr., yes, that one, and his wife Susan as well. It does seem to be, a very decent adaptation of the comics. However, the show isn't that interesting when Gus and Jeopard are not on screen. The other stuff is kind of just meh. It's kind of just okay. The general, he's just an so-so villain. He reminds me of a mix between Dr. Robotnik from Sonic the Hedgehog and the Mandarin from Iron Man 3. Or at least, the Sir Ben Kingsley version of the Mandarin. So overall, I really did, I gotta say, overall, I did enjoy the series, and I found it rewarding and very impressive. So I'm gonna give Sweet Tooth on Netflix an 8.5 out of 10. That's all for me, guys. Until next time, peace.